games. Yeah. Tim Miles is very familiar with UNLV and this conference. He's had multiple stops in conference, and we're going to be talking to all the coaches over the next 2 or 3 weeks to get you ready for the Thomas and Mack hosting the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Coach, how are you? It's Steve and John here in Vegas.
Yeah, you guys, I expect a big thank you. I mean, I am the exclusive reason that we got the Rebs going on this 5-game winning streak where we lead for 32 minutes and then just crumble down the stretch. And the run Rebs got hot, and they're looking great right now. Holy cow.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing in that game is they got hot from three. Like, Jackie Johnson hit 2 shots, I think, from the left wing, where I'm sure you're watching and you're like, good, take it. And then swish.
Yeah, no doubt. They you know, we knew they could hurt us inside, and we were double the post. In fact, we got Keenan Boone out of the game. He was so, you know, I mean, and we thought that was going to be a real bonus, and it didn't. It turned out they had to find another way to get us, and Jackie hit those 2 deep threes when we were trying to change defenses, and what a league, though. My goodness. You know, you look at UNLV has won 5 in a row, is right up in the middle of the standings. There's 7 different teams that are, within a game of being in first place, maybe 2 games of being in first place in this league. It's going to make for an exciting Mountain West tournament and an exciting stretch run as we get down here in February and March.
Coach, you mentioned that win for UNLV against you guys that got this winning streak started. So after they lost Air Force, you know, I came on and I was pretty adamant, like, even though that's kind of a loss that gets out of hand, I still think this UNLV team is capable of beating anybody, can still win the Mountain West. Did you see that same potential when you were getting ready for them, like the ceiling of this UNLV team before you played them? Did you know that this could be something pretty good and that was just a poor result for them?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you know, when Air Force can do that to you, they can slice and dice you. And when I saw what they did to Creighton, when everybody got eligible and everybody was available, well, you knew then they were going to be a dangerous team. It was just how they put it all together, and that's a lot of change. Not only with immediate eligibility, just from year to year. Now they had that in season, and it takes a while to find your groove and get everybody on the same page.
You mentioned the depth of this conference. You think you get 6 teams into this NCAA tournament? That is the talk of the town, that there are 6 teams that could make this thing into the NCAAs.
And when I left Colorado State in 2012, we had got 4-4. And I think the year after I left Larry Stacey, a team of a lifetime. And they ended up getting 5 that year. And you never know how it's going to go, because it really does come down to discretion and whatever the committee values. And from member to member, that's different. I think, the Mountain West is a rising conference. I think hopefully it helps that San Diego State made such a deep run. That was kind of always the knock when I was in the league the first time. All the good teams were getting 8 and 9 seeds. So even if you win the first one, you're playing a 1 seed in the second round, and you're not making a deep run playing the ones. And I know as coaches, we always talked about how important seeds were and what's going on. So hopefully, I don't pretend to know how many we're going to get in, but it's a basketball league. I know that.
UNLVtickets.com is where you can get yourself hooked up for the Mountain West Conference Tournament coming up in really just about 3 weeks, and everyone's in it. Air Force and, of course, San Jose State are in it. Tim Miles is with us. For you, around the Mountain West, which team has been the toughest matchup?
I think New Mexico. I think New Mexico's got those 3 guards are so good. They've got enough athleticism inside. They're really, really good. San Diego State's always going to be there. I don't think there's any chance or any break that way. Utah State with the point guard Brown and the big kid Asabar inside are really, really good. And then Isaiah Stevens might be the best player in the league at Colorado State, so I think you've got to give him props too. Nevada's strong, Boise's strong. I mean, there's just so many good teams. I just, at first blush, though, I thought it was so hard guarding New Mexico and their ability to get into transition and use their defensive pressure to create. And then once those guards got going, House and Dent got going in transition, man, they are a nightmare.
Yeah, Toppin's been really good. He's certainly on top of the list right there with DJ Thomas to win Freshman of the Year. I feel like any other school in the conference outside of maybe 2 other schools, True Washington would be getting like 25 minutes a night. So New Mexico
no doubt
is very, very good. So how do you guys close strong? Can I just make a comment that maybe the defense needs to nut up a little bit down the stretch? At least that's what that's not to insult you, because we joked before the season back at Mountain West Conference Media Day that I wanted you to be the revolutionary guy and pull the league out of the grind and bump basketball they play and, just shoot 45 threes a game. And you're like, all right, I need to keep a job. I'm not going to make the sacrifice for the entire league to try to make it into a change of pace league. But what do you guys have to do to improve down the stretch, get a few more wins and in a little better position for the tournament?
Yeah, what you just alluded to, which is our defense, was solid at the beginning of the year, but really, we lost Rob Biola to injury. We don't have much physicality inside. Sometimes that makes you vulnerable. Certainly makes you vulnerable on the glass. Certainly makes you have to make decisions when they throw it inside. Are you going to play one-on-one? We don't do that very well, so you end up doubling. Now you're vulnerable to penetration, more offensive rebounding, wide open threes, and teams have hurt us making threes. So, we've been trying to change defenses a little more. We're getting a little better at that. But ultimately, I probably got to do a better job in the NIL space in the transfer portal this spring, and then my defense will get a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, that part of the game has changed. With Ohio State moving on from their coach, I saw, rumors out there. You don't have to speak to different candidates, but even someone like a Mick Cronin at UCLA, stories are, and he's complained about it openly, that you need more support. I don't know how you do it from school to school. I think UNLV has pretty good support here, but how do you drum up the community, especially if, at that point you're not winning big? How do you bring in the money?
Yeah, I think you just got to have the right people surrounding you with the intensity of fandom. I think you see that in New Mexico. You see some at UNLV, some of these other places. Boise, I think, has got a good thing going. And you see those people step up, but it is part of a thing, and it's a change. It's a paradigm shift. It's a change of thinking. Used to be schools were always about facilities and scholarship and all that, and now NIL is equally or even more important.
What do you think is the toughest venue when you go in there? What do you think is the loudest venue in the conference?
Well, it's always been the Pit for me. I like them all. I think Boise can get pretty good. CSU was really good the other night. Utah State's always really good. San Diego State can be really, I think, kind of on that par of New Mexico in the Pit. In the old days, Thomas and Mack was going, and since pro sports have come in, it's probably not as loud and raucous and energetic, but I think as they win more and win more, a lot of great things can happen.
Tim Miles was head coach at San Jose State. The Mountain West Conference tournament's coming up in just a couple of weeks. Get your tickets at unlvtickets.com. So this year for me, I wasn't at the Pit, but I'll put them on my rankings. The loudest I've been at so far, because UNLV didn't go to Utah State, which is unbelievable. It's full, was Colorado State, because they did the orange out. And I've told the story on my show. I'm colorblind. So and they had orange uniforms on, and everyone in the crowd had orange on. I'm like, I don't know where the ball is. They look like they have 14 defenders against UNLV. At one point, I shouldn't even tell the story, but at one point I was down by the CSU bench, probably 50 feet away. It's not that big a gym. And one of the security guards is like, you can't be down here, because I had a UNLV mic flag out. And I'm like, bro, I can't hear anything in here. It is so loud, and I don't know who's on the floor. That's how frenzied that environment was that night.
So great. We we started that orange out when I was the coach there. I bought a hat that had an orange A, because those were my high school colors. Orange was my high school color, and it had an orange A. And the guy who owned the bookstore, said our original colors were pumpkin and alfalfa. We were the ag school, Colorado State A&M. And I'm like, oh, we're bringing this back. I went to my athletic director, and he said, if you can raise the money. I went to a donor, and he says, well, if you do it and the women do it, I'll buy you the uniform. And that's how we started it all. It was awesome. And that place, it can get really cooking. When I started out, remember, we were so bad. I inherited, we had guys commit felonies. We had all kinds of things going on right when I got there. And we got it organized. We had to recruit from the intramural gym for a while. But we called it Moby Morgue, because every time I'd walk in, Nico Medved, Craig Smith, who's the coach at Utah now, I say, hey, boys, it's a Laker crowd. They'll be coming in late. They're going to be coming in late. And they'd laugh and shit. Nobody would be there. And now, holy cow, is it electric. I think, in fact, in 12, our last 4 games there were completely sold out. And so that was pretty cool to be a part of. And that place it's Moby Magic now. It's not the morgue. It's really a cool place.
Tim Miles with us. So you were there. You jumped to Nebraska. You're back in the conference. What would you tell young coaches who are like, you know what, I'm at a great place right now. I really built it up like you did at CSU. I'm ready to jump to Power 5. Would you be like, don't do it? Or did you get something out of that experience?
I had a great experience at Nebraska. I mean, we were top 11 in attendance, I think 6 out of my 7 years there. We opened a new facility, which was phenomenal, state of the art. I loved being in the Big Ten. I didn't like being fired. But it was an experience that did me well and my family well. And we had a great experience. I think I can see cases for both. I can see why guys like the challenge. I dreamt of coaching in the Big Ten. I watched Big Ten games as a child when we only got 2 channels in Dolan, South Dakota, CBS and NBC. And I'd watch the Big Ten Sunday afternoon games. And then when I walked into places like Assembly Hall and, in Indiana, you're like, I'd get flashbacks. Like, this is what I watched as a child. And so it was really cool. But I can see why guys, Nico Medved's got a great thing going at CSU. I can see why he'd stay. He had 2 years ago, he had all kinds of opportunities to go high major and decided to stay. And it's really served him and that university well.
Coach, I've got to ask, you tweeted, I just got the notification, Taylor Swift is going to make it to the game. Are you a Swiftie?
Yeah. I got some of her songs in my Spotify. I'll tell you that. She's catchy. And, would I go to her concert? No, nah, I'm not going to pay $1,200 to sit in the 300 level, and I'm not going to pay any more. And so she's good. Just something I thought we could have fun with. I think she's probably trying to take over the world. Probably going to break up with Kelsey and start dating a NASCAR guy, then maybe go over to Europe and date a Formula One guy. All the rabid fan bases, I think she's going to figure out how to capture.
What songs?
I couldn't name a song.
Oh, okay. All
right. I couldn't name a song. So I'm not that big of a fan. Like, I like her stuff. It's good. Oh, Cardigan is one. Seems like After All is another one. Delicate is one. So she's got a few songs I could probably, but if you ask me to sing them, I'm probably not going to be able to help you out very well.
If you were going to drop $1,200 on a ticket, the person that deserves to go, and they will sit by themselves, is the Duck.
The Duck is the man.
Yep.
He gets that bread. Every time we lose, I feel sorry for one person, the Duck, and that's about it.
More than yourself. You're like, poor Duck.
Yeah, it's too bad, man.
Yeah.
He's all in. I love him.
He's so dedicated. He was Natalie attired for Suits and Sneakers Week. I asked him, I was like, hey, what's going on with the suit today? You're all dressed up. And he's like, come on, man. I don't think he said it. He just kind of gave me some signs. I was like,
yeah.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Every fan base needs a crazy, loyal fan like that.
Art form. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Coach, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you here in Vegas in just a few weeks. Thanks for previewing the tournament with us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
There he is, Tim Miles. He's great. Just got to get it rolling with some more players down at San Jose State. They certainly can shoot it. And, it's another one of those teams, John, and we'll address this on the way back. Matchups are everything in this league, and this tournament is going to be wild because of the matchups. It depends on who you draw in a lot of ways. Some teams just simply cannot beat others and then dominate different schools, and it's always hard to